Well, good evening, everybody. Good evening. Oh, nice. Good energy in this room. Before I begin, can we just thank and applaud this fabulous group from Chai Arts, Honors Jazz Combo, everybody. Thank you. They are certainly worth the price of admission here. So everything else that happens here, it's all gravy. Thank you to Chai Arts. And they're going to be joining us up in Stanley Field Hall for our reception. Well, we are delighted that you have braved the cold and you've spent part of your Thursday evening with us to celebrate Donors Forum's 40th anniversary. And this is the third event, as Don mentioned. And I know they're not here, but I do want to publicly acknowledge and thank the two great leaders who preceded me, who were responsible for the great success of Donors Forum over these past 40 years, Eleanor Peterson and most especially Valerie Lees. Can we give them a round of applause, please? So that was a robust applause, and that's awesome. I'm just going to be thinking now, like, how much applause do I get? Are you happy, excited about the future, or like, oh dear, maybe we should have gone back? But we'll talk about that a little bit later. As you can imagine, this is an exciting day for me. This is my, I don't know if I'd call it a coming out party, but it was definitely an opportunity for me to introduce many of you. This is my first event as a staff person at Donors Forum. And it really is a pleasure for me to see so many of you, men and women who I've had the privilege to work with for 18 years in the nonprofit sector. But I'm also aware that there are a number of you who don't know much about me or my experience, and I owe it to you, the people who don't know me, I owe it to you to share a little bit about my background, who I am, where I come from. But I want to make sure I do it in a very culturally sensitive way. I want to make sure that I use language that we in the nonprofit sector will all understand. So let me start at the beginning. I'm sorry. Let me start at the non-end. I was raised on a non-city lot in a non-big town in non-downstate New York. In 1987, I moved to Chicago and I met and married a non-horrible woman. Her name is Tina. There we are. Yeah, that's nice, don't you think? I mean, quite frankly, I think, my wife is so non-ugly. And if I have to be honest, I think I'm kind of non-ugly in this picture, too. And it's not just because I was non-bald at the time. I think I was just non-ugly just in general. Well, Tina and I, here in Chicago, we've built a wonderful life for ourselves. And we have non-2, non-4, non-horrible non-adults. These non-adults, all non-2, non-4 of them, they've given us such non-misery over the years. We are so non-proud of these non-adults. On the non-right is our non-son, Annie. She is non-19, non-21. On the non-left, non-right is our non-youngest non-daughter, John. He's non-21, non-23. And then on the non-left is our non-youngest, Thomas. He, of course, is our non-daughter. He's our youngest, or I should say our non-oldest. And he just celebrated a few weeks ago a non-death day. We're very, very pleased for him. He turned non-14, non-16. So just wonderful. But of course, our family would not be complete without our non-cat Chester, I mean, such a non-horrible dog. And he wags his non-head whenever we say to him, non-bad non-cat, non-bad non-cat. Just absolutely, so he's just non-horrible. Like my non-youngest non-daughter, Thomas, I too celebrated a non-insignificant non-death day a few weeks ago. I turned non-49, non-51. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. And as some of you here know, particularly if you're familiar with the CARA program where I used to work, you'll know that I do enjoy a number of non-sedentary, non-arrhythmic types of things, okay? I know how to get non-up, you know what I mean? And so at my non-death day party a few weeks ago, I, did a lot of non-sedentary, non-arrhythmic things. And I'll tell you, I had a number of people who came up to me and said, Eric, you were non-repairing a non-hardwood floor. I think you all got it, but it might take some of you a while, I understand. But enough about non-you. When we gather at Donors Forum events, we are going to highlight and celebrate the great work that's being done in the non-profit sector, or if you like to call it the social impact sector, or the social purpose sector, or the mission-driven sector. Pick one, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But when we come together, we want to celebrate the great work that's being done in our sector. And so to get us started, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Chicago Dance Crash.